And how's it going, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Oopscast with your boy Kissan Desai.
And your boy GK.
And today is a very, very special episode, guys. I hope you guys are having a wonderful weekend because we sure as hell are. It's been a big weekend, a big week for basketball fans all over. I think at this point in time, you guys know what has happened in the NBA. And I don't think we need to keep up the further, anticipation. So, Grant, you wanted to give it a special shout out?
Yes, special shout out to my cousin, Abraham Kasablian. He told me I have a great voice, and I also sound like Lawrence Tanner, Lakers public announcer. So, Abe, this is what I have to say for you. Thank you, Laker girls. He always laughs every time I say it, and everybody always says I sound like him. I might take his job someday, so we'll see.
So just don't talk with a lisp, my guy.
Bro.
All right. Before I go into any of the trade, before we go into the trade details or anything, did you see James Harden tonight, bro?
Dude, a triple-double, a 30-point triple-double. That's insane.
First player
to get that.
Bro, first player to do it on a debut game. That's crazy, right?
Man, people are saying that the Nets really messed up by giving up that much, including myself. But, hey, the guy gave up a big performance, showing that he's the old James Harden and that he's dedicated to work for Brooklyn Nets and to get this championship. So,
shout out to Kevin Durant, too. He was looking real good himself, too.
42 points.
42 points, bro. Yeah, no, I mean, we've mentioned this multiple times, but, still, shout out to him,
Definitely.
Yeah. So, Grant, I know you have the trade details on you. You mind giving the audience a little a peek on how that trade went down?
With pleasure. So, folks, before I break down the trade, I want to quickly say this. It's one of the biggest trades to ever happen. A four-team trade. There was a lot of picks and players that were given up from their respective teams to the next. And, yeah, let's kick things off. So, the Rockets, they've received Victor Oladipo, Dante Exum, Rodion Kurucs, 3 Brooklyn first-round picks, which includes 2022, 2024, and 2026 picks. And they receive also Milwaukee's first-round pick, unprotected 2022. And they also get 4 more Brooklyn picks. And these are swaps, though, for first rounds, 2021, 2023, 2025, and 2027 also.
So Grant, if I'm counting this right, bro, that's 8 fucking picks right there, right?
Yeah. And I remember last year when they did that trade for Westbrook, they gave up 4 first-round picks and Chris Paul for Russell Westbrook. And they're basically getting those back, except they're getting 4 more first-round picks.
Bro, I think the Rockets management might have kidnapped Sam Presti. So, because that sort of trade's only like a Sam Presti or a Danny Ainge style trade. Just saying.
He learned a thing or two from Sam Presti.
Yeah. No, and then so what about the Pacers? Because I know they were also part of this trade.
The Pacers received Karis LeVert and a second rounder, and I believe that's the 2023 draft. That's going to be a second rounder, so they didn't receive. I mean, Karis LeVert's a big player, but not as much as what the Rockets received.
And a quick shout out to Karis LeVert again. We were praying for you, my guy. We obviously news broke out that he has a small mass around his kidney. We both hope that it's benign, because it's a phenomenal player that's being affected by something like this,
Oh, definitely.
Mm-hmm.
I heard that news once. Sham tweeted it, and I was just wondering what a small mass is. And as I searched it up, they're saying that it could be a possibility of a cancerous tumor. And so that's when I got worried. I'm like, wow, player with this potential and ending up with something like this, it's absurd. It's very sad, but then again, let's pray that it's not a cancer.
Fingers crossed.
Non-cancer. Yes.
And then finally, the Cavs.
The Cavs received Jared Allen and Taurean Prince.
Did you hear Larry Nance? Yeah, I was gonna say the man said Sexland is surrounded by trees.
Yes,
my guy said Sexland surrounded by trees. That's crazy.
My man's a freak. What can I say? But this trade, this is very beneficial for the Cavaliers. because they have two great centers, especially someone on Drummond, and they have also Jared Allen, who's only 22 years old. And if you
Right.
saw him in the last 3 years in Brooklyn, this man's a defensive machine, and he
Defensive
can score
machine,
too.
yeah.
But they're in a good situation because because I heard rumors that they were shopping Drummond, which I'm not even
Yeah.
surprised receiving Jared Allen.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see how it goes from there. And finally, we all know Nets received James Harden, which is a huge plus on their end. Although we don't know what's going on with Kyrie Irving, but who knows? They might fit together. Maybe he wants to play. Maybe he was waiting. We just all have to wait and see when Kyrie come back and play with the Nets.
I just want to say, and I've been saying this to Grant and any of my homies that I talk basketball with, just based off sheer pure talent, the Nets are the best team in the league, just based off talent. Because you have like two of the most versatile guards in the league, like best ISO dribblers. You got two of those best. On top of that, you got one of the most malleable players who can play forward and center. He plays like a fucking guard, Kevin Durant. You got those three guys all together. Based off that sort of talent, that's gonna be a crazy ass team. But then the question is, it's the egos. Will those egos mesh?
They have to learn how to share the ball, in my opinion. Because once they learn how to share the ball, that's gonna be a undefeated team almost. Like no one's gonna stop that team. Like yeah,
No,
although the Magic were pretty close to them, but you just think about it. That's Harden's first game, and on top of that, they didn't have Kyrie.
yeah,
So imagine if they all had that chemistry and they were sharing the ball. What's going to be this team's potential? I can definitely see this team going to the finals. But
yeah.
however, in my opinion, as a Laker fan, I'm going to be honest. Lakers definitely will have a hard time with this team.
I was about to say you're about to toot the Lakers' horn, bro, again on cam.
I mean, let me tell you this though: the Lakers have something that the Nets don't,
What is that? LeBron
and that's
James.
strong. LeBron James.
LeBron James.
No, but anyways, they don't have that defense. Something that the Lakers
Right.
do. Lakers have, and the Nets don't. They're
So
not
they're
a
gonna
good
have.
interior. Yeah,
They're
they're
gonna
gonna have a
have to.
hard time.
Yeah. They're gonna have to get that defense on point. Because DeAndre Jordan isn't the same player he once
Oh
was
man,
on the
it's
Clippers.
really it really sucks to see him like just downgrade from being one of the more prominent centers to just being the average center.
But it's all cool. They're not asking him for too much. They just want him to catch a couple of boards. He's not like much of a scoring option. They got good shooters too. They got Joe Harris. They got Landry Shamet. Just all in all, a good team.
They are no the Nets have a very stacked team. Role players,
Mm-hmm.
superstars, and they have a great coaching staff. Steve Nash, for
Steve
example.
Nash, Mike D'Antoni. I think Amari Stoudemire is part of that coaching
Yes.
staff. So yeah, you got a great, and based off offense, bro. Steve Nash is about to have some fun creating that offense. Just
Oh,
based off,
definitely. He has a
yeah.
lot. I'm pretty sure he has lots of ideas and lots of plays that could be run with James Harden or Kevin Durant or so. It's going to be very fun. He
Yeah,
definitely knows what he's going to do with that team since they have such a prominent team.
and it makes sense too because obviously we know that Mike D'Antoni and James Harden have that same relationship. That they had on the Hornets.
Yeah,
Or not the Hornets,
definitely.
the
They
Rockets.
have that.
Man, I'm slipping. Yeah,
They have that chemistry, and you have Steve Nash with Kevin Durant, who were
Mhm.
together at the time with the Warriors when they were at the Warriors team.
Yeah. The
So you
question is
definitely have
just
lots of
Kyrie. Really,
chemistry.
that's it.
Yeah, like is he gonna start waking up and saying, I need to get my shit together. Let me join with the squad and get this dub and try to get this championship. But no, he's taking steps back, which isn't good on his end and for the team's end. Because after all, the team is paying, what is it, $33 million?
Yeah, I think so. I'm not even saying this as a Celtics fan, man, because obviously, as a Celtics fan, like how much salt I have brewed up for Kyrie Irving. But putting that aside,
Okay.
I have to say, like Kyrie Irving's acting really like Antonio Brown, like when Antonio Brown had that act up diva moment in the NFL.
All those two divas, yeah.
Yeah. And speaking of the NFL, shout out to the Rams for taking an L today. They got fucking rammed.
All right. Yes.
Yeah.
Keep
Uh,
laughing.
we were talking shit about the Seahawks, man. Shout out to Grant over here, the biggest Ram fan out there.
It's the Packers. They're very good, and I wasn't
See,
expecting too
see,
much.
this is what Grant's saying right now. A week ago, Grant was talking mad shit about the Packers. He's like, just watch
Oh, get
Jalen
out of here,
Ramsey,
man!
just watch Jalen Ramsey lock up Devontae Adams. Aaron Jones ain't shit, bro. Aaron Jones had a fucking rushing touchdown. Y'all couldn't stop him, bro. Aaron
I know.
Rodgers had a rushing touchdown for crying out loud, bro.
Rams Nation, baby, Rams Nation.
Yeah, Rams Nation just biting the dust. They're about to go to Cabo and smoke cigars with fucking Jamal Adams and the Seahawks, bro.
Yes, sir.
And also, shout out to the Bills. I'm so happy that the Bills beat the Ravens. They're in the AFC Championship, guys.
Yeah, it's amazing how a small organization like that, a small market team, is going this far.
And
And
guys,
I've seen them. I
mhm.
watched them all year. Stephon Diggs, Josh Allen. It's amazing what they're doing.
I mean, dude, I'm an AFC East guy. I'm a Patriots fan. So seeing that team already, it kind of hurts me. But at the same time, if I had to pick someone to win the Super Bowl, I wouldn't want anyone else but the Bills to win the Super Bowl.
The
At the
the
moment,
pa-
at least.
the Patriots' own children is
The
growing up.
Patriots, the Patriots' own children are growing up. And guys, just to make it clear, I know we're a basketball show, but we're also heavy football fans too. So we're gonna always throw quick shout outs about football in there.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. All right, back to this though. So we already talked about the Nets. Now we have the Rockets. So they got Victor Oladipo, they got Karuch, they got Dante Exum. Aside
You
from those picks, just the players, like looking at the players, them alone, that team's questionable. I have to say, it's very questionable with them.
couldn't have said it any better, brother. Because with getting Victor Oladipo, he's been dealing with injuries, like the quad injury took him out over a year, and it's just it. He declined as a player overall, as an all-star. He went from one of the most prolific shooting guards in the league to just becoming, basically the average shooting guard. He's not putting up great numbers, although I know the guy had setbacks, but he's slowly working his way up to becoming
Actually,
a shooting.
this season though, he actually hasn't put up bad numbers either. Though he was putting 20 points, 20 plus points. I mean, he had some games where he had down games, but yeah,
Yeah,
the guy was coming off an injury and he was putting up decent enough points.
that's why it's gonna take time for him, especially now that he's landing on a new team. It's gonna definitely take him some time until they can, get him fully adjusted to the Rocket system. With
With
John
another
Wall, who
injury
came out,
prone guard.
and
Yeah,
DeMarcus Cousins.
yeah,
Yeah, so that team is definitely a huge question mark that you can place on their organization.
yeah. No, if they want to
Do you think
win,
that's gonna work out?
huh? Repeat that one more time.
You think they're gonna work out, the Rockets? You think they're gonna work out?
See, like I said, it's a 50-50, Like if they really want to win, they got to play their ass off. John Wall said that he wants to look like the next guard for the team for a while. He's going to have to play like that too. Victor Oladipo wants a bag from what I know, because he's on his last year of his deal. And obviously there are reports that he's looking towards South Beach. So if he wants to play good, he has to play like he's worth that bag. And finally, we got DeMarcus Cousins, the curious case of Boogie Cousins, because I don't know what to say about this guy. Obviously, he's looking like the
Mr.
old Boogie.
Emotional, man.
He's looking like the
Mr.
old
Emotional.
Boogie Cousins with all the techs, and all the injections and whatnot.
Screw me over on fantasy, man. He just screwed me over with these technicals
And be sure, hey
injections.
guys, be sure to stick around for that 5 minute fantasy portion of this episode, okay, guys? But yeah, back to this. Yeah, I mean the Rockets are just the biggest question mark. Grant put it really well as just the big question mark. And then we got the
Yeah, so
Pacers.
it's a mystery. Oh man. Aside from the fact that Karis LeVert has a small mass in his kidney, which again, prayers up for him.
Prayers up, yeah.
That team is gonna be, once he comes to that squad, to me, they're definitely gonna be the most underrated squad in the whole league.
Now Grant went on to go say that the Pacers won this trade with the shrugging emoji.
And I'm gonna say it again. They won this trade. Because if you really think about it, they have a shooting guard who was putting up amazing numbers as a sixth man for about a few years. And that he still had Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving, and he was still putting up great numbers. He's fast. He can score from all over. I'm sorry, I'm just Karis LeVert is one of these players. Exactly, I'm baffled.
But Honestly, no. Now we know who's the clear leader of that team. No, it's not Malcolm Brogdon. No, it's not TJ Warren. It's Demonis Sabonis. Like, I know so many people are sleeping on him, and I'm gonna be giving this guy more clout in a bit, like on that fantasy portion. But still, quick 2 cents about him. He's gonna be the leader of that team. It's already evident. It's already clear. He's putting up numbers like his dad would put up when he was playing for the Soviet Union, or for NBA fans right now, for more of a reference, possibly like a poor man's Jokic, putting up those assists, putting up those rebounds, putting up those points, and even on occasion putting up blocks and steals. And then you got Turner, who also is showing up this year.
Oh,
He's
he's
showing
coming
up
back.
finally. Yeah.
He's
He's
back.
showing why he was deserved to peak that 11th pick in that 2015 draft class. He's showing why he should have been a higher pick than in that draft class. He's trying to
proving all the haters wrong. He's definitely proving all the haters wrong. And then he continues like this. Who knows? He can get a bigger bag later on and could potentially lead this team. Although, like you said, Sabonis is the leader of this team. He's just doing everything on the court. He's scoring. He's playing great defense. And besides that, they have Malcolm Brogdon too. Like you
Malcolm
mentioned.
Brogdon's perfect. Perfect.
Well,
I think TJ Warren, low key, TJ Warren should get traded. Don't get me wrong here, bro. That's a bold statement. That is a bold statement, I know. But honestly, just the way TJ Warren plays doesn't fit that team style. Like, TJ Warren's a very ISO heavy player. If you saw in the bubble and stuff, when Bubble Warren went off and everything, you could tell he was playing very heavy ISO. And the Pacers are just not an ISO team. If you notice the way, I love Brogdon and Demonis Sabonis.
You have Karis LeVert now. You have Karis LeVert.
And Karis is not an ISO player, though. That's the thing, though. Like, him and D'Angelo Russell, when they played together, meshed so well.
I mean, the way I was watching his games, this guy's a pretty good ISO player. Whenever he gets in the ISO moment, whenever it's ISO one-on-one, he goes crazy.
But he can be a team ball player, too, though. You got to understand.
Definitely. He's an all-around player. As a shooting guard, he can do a lot of things, even playing great defense. He has lots of steals and blocks, which made the Brooklyn Nets a very good team at the time. Just
saying, like, all in all, with a healthy Karis LeVert, this team should be the most underrated team in the East. Just saying.
Oh, I said it, and I'm gonna keep saying this.
Mm-hmm.
They're the most underrated squad in the league now that they acquired Karis LeVert.
Yeah, and then
I just hope the mass feels better. I just hope he heals up from that small mass and he can go and get Pacers far to the playoffs.
Yeah, not get swept like last time. But yeah, I was gonna say, finally, now we got the Cavs, the Cleveland Cavaliers. So this may not seem like much getting Jared Allen and Tyrese Prince, but you got to understand the depth behind that trade. I mean, look, Andre Drummond's a great center. I have him on my fantasy team, which I'll go back. Like I said, I'm going to go into that heavily in a second. But you got to understand, Andre Drummond is also like just entering his prime now. He should be on a win now team. Let's be real here. I think he could do so much more on a team like the Boston Celtics. Like, as a Celtics fan, I'm going to say that. Or another team that needs a center. I'm trying to think of teams like the Toronto Raptors. They need center help right now,
Or the Blazers.
Or the Blazers, So I'm saying Andre Drummond, and there's like reports that he might get traded at the deadline.
I definitely see that as a possibility, because, again, acquiring Jared Allen, he's only 22 years old.
Exactly.
And they're going to obviously build around him, and the Sexland duo.
Grant seems to love Sexland duo, yeah.
Dude, all jokes aside, though, they got a nice young squad, and they got Isaac Okoro on top of that. They're going to be an exciting team to watch.
Please trade Kevin Love. This is a quick petition right here. Trade Kevin Love off the Cavaliers for the love of basketball, for the love of Kevin. Trade him.
For the love of God.
For the love of God, trade him. I love Kevin Love. He's like one of my favorite players from like when he was playing on the Timberwolves, and even like on his moments on the Cavs during that 2016 finals. I loved him playing, but I think he needs to go somewhere else. I think he'd be such a lethal player.
There's no reason for him to be there.
Exactly.
Like what is he doing in a rebuilding team?
And they're making
him go to a different squad so they can win this damn championship. He should be on a contending team.
He should be on a contending team. I feel like the Nuggets need to go talk to the Cavs because they could use someone like Kevin Love.
But what are you going to give up? What are you giving up?
If I were the Cavs, I'd probably give up Paul Millsap for sure. Possibly Gary Harris. I'm trying to think, but the thing about the Nuggets is it's hard because they don't have that many bad contracts. It's hard to
Dude,
pinpoint a bad contract on that team.
If Cavaliers were to negotiate, that would be dumb to try to acquire Paul Millsap. He's a good basketball player. He was especially nice when he was with the Hawks at the time. We all know that. But if you really think about it, he has the same exact No, excuse me. He has a less contract.
Lesser contract, yeah.
Oh my God, sorry, I'm just going crazy today. I'm just so shocked about that trade.
Bro, okay. But you got to understand, though, the Cavs are not trying to win anything, right? So why will they care on taking on an aging power forward who's on a 1 year? They want someone like that who's on a 1 year deal. They want someone like Gary Harris, who's I think also on a 1 year deal or a 2 year deal with a team option on it. I think, I'm not sure. Don't quote me on that.
What's the point of having Paul Millsap though?
It's just thing that just to make the contract work. I think if you want, add a young player into that. Possibly get Bol. If the Cavs can possibly try getting Bol in that deal, like low key, just saying low key.
Or try to get RJ Hampton. He's not getting.
Why Hampton though? Because dude, they got Garland, they got Sexton. Why would they need Hampton?
Who knows? What if he ends up being better than Garland or Sexton even?
I highly doubt that. I don't think he's gonna.
RJ Hampton was on the New Zealand Breakers. He was very nice, and he has that potential to become something bigger than what he is right now in the Nuggets.
But he also has a very flawed game too, though. But I know this was said about Garland and Sexton as well, and they're pretty much showing up right now. I'm hoping Garland comes back from his shoulder injury. I need him on my fantasy team to come back. Yeah. Yeah. But no, overall, the Cavs, for what they are right now, that's not a bad move. And okay, quickly, one more time, I want to mention Taurean Prince too. I don't think anyone's giving him attention enough. This guy's a young wing player, and some of you are like, who the fuck is Taurean Prince, and why the fuck should I care about him?
Hey, yeah, he was nice on the Hawks.
Exactly, that's my point.
On the 17-18 season, when he was with the Hawks, he was putting up great numbers, and it seems like Blazers and the Warriors really wanted him. They were seriously acquiring, and they were willing to give up, their big name players and first round picks for him. He was a serious deal. He's just not getting that attention, like you said. But I sure hope the Cavs could use him because he's still got a lot of gas left in the tank.
Right, yeah. So with that portion wrapped up, welcome to another episode of another segment of 5 Minute Fantasy with your boys, obviously. And in this week's fantasy coverage, we're going to talk about a couple of players, obviously, some of the highlight players. First off, Domantas Sabonis. Let's quickly, I just want to mention how great of a player he is in fantasy, not just this week, but the past 3-4 weeks he's been playing.
Guys, he's a top 5 player.
And who in our league has Domantas Sabonis? We're going to give him a quick shout out, Shout out to Roy Saberwall. Roy Saberwall.
Man, you got to trade him to me.
Yeah.
He ain't going to trade me Sabonis. I'll try, man.
Hey, man, listen, great job to Roy for drafting him, bro. I mean, look, man, Domantas Sabonis, great-ass player. Who knew that he was going to take that jump, though? No one could have predicted that.
And he's not getting enough attention, like you said, and it actually kind of pisses me off. Because for a great player like that, he's just not getting that attention.
He's a bona fide all-star this year, too. Just saying. He's going to be an all-star easily.
Easy. For several years, he's going to be an all-star. And he's going to be an Indiana franchise player.
Right. And speaking of Indiana, another player I want to give a quick shout-out to is Miles Turner. He's putting up a lot of blocks. If your league has high points on blocks, make sure to inquire a trade for him. Or if you have him, retain him.
Yeah, definitely. Miles Turner is coming up. He's coming back. He's expected to be a top 30 player, so just use them a lot because I believe they're going to have an easier schedule coming on the months before the season ends. So try to use them a lot. And if you guys could trade him, definitely do. And even if it's worth, if you guys could risk trading your high profile players, do it. Like they say, risk it for the biscuit. That's what you got to do in that case.
Hey, man, Grant's been risking it for the biscuit, and you know how he turned out.
Yes, sir.
Another 2 players. Sorry, I'm about to cut you off again. 2 players. The top 2 players this week, I think this week, early on this week, and probably even right now, I think are still ranked top 2 in fantasy. Correct me if I'm wrong. Are Andre Drummond and Nikola Jokic.
Yes.
And shout out to the guy in our league who has Andre Drummond and Nikola Jokic, the genius that drafted both those players on their team.
Wow, you want so much attention. Good for you.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's me. I forgot. Yeah, that's me.
Oh
I'll,
yeah.
I'll jokes aside. No. If you guys can get a trade for Drummond, please do so now. Yeah, great time to trade for Drummond. His value is on point, on high. Just last night, the man had a 33 and 23 game, which
Jesus
was
Christ.
yeah.
That was
It's
crazy.
crazy. It was crazy.
I saw that. I'm thinking, wow, Keyshawn's about to win this week for sure.
Dude, I'm losing right now somehow, but I am running a third string squad at the moment because all my players are out with COVID.
Dude,
For
my
most,
my my players are literally out too. Beal, Levine, CP3, Robin Lopez.
but you're playing Toby.
Doesn't matter.
That does matter, dude. You're playing against someone who barely gets active versus I'm playing someone who's trying to get another win.
Whatever. I'm still trying to gain points. But anyways, guys, another player that you guys should definitely look out for is Harry Giles.
Yes, and tell him the reason why.
Nurkic broke his wrist. He's going to be out for several weeks. So what that means is they're not only going to start Cantor, but they're going to utilize a lot of Harry Giles into that rotation. Guys, he was considered the best player in high school about a few years ago. And this guy still has the potential. I've watched a few of Portland Trailblazers preseason matchups, and this guy's still the real deal. Blazers got a big-time pickup with that. Sacramento Kings messed up big time, and they're going to regret it for a very long time. But, guys, if Harry Giles is a free agent, pick him up. He's going to put up great numbers, and he's, again...
preseason matters the most.
Yeah.
Shout out to Taylor Horton-Tucker.
For preseason games, it really shows you who you are and if you're capable of becoming that rotational player. And he proved it. Although Nurkic and Cantor are ahead of him, Nurkic is officially out, so that means he still has that potential, and he's going to show that he's still worthy of that rotation squad.
Bro, I just want to make a quick point that I know I call it 5-minute fantasy, bro, but literally we don't go 5 minutes. We actually go on and on and on about fantasy. Like,
yeah,
we love it so much.
We get people informed so they can succeed in them.
Of course, man. And finally, obviously, because COVID's been hitting these teams badly, like Grant accidentally opened up 20 slots in our team, but it actually worked out so well because COVID killed most of our players. By killed, I mean like killed most of the games, not the players. God forbid that happens. But it killed most of the games that were supposed to happen, which meant like we had to drop so many players. So if you guys want to, I say open up your slots in the IL too, because a lot of injuries are happening still, and COVID's been like postponing too many games.
Yeah, guys, it's not cool what's happening. And like Kishan said, I accidentally opened up 20 slots, but I don't regret it at all because all these players getting COVID, it's not going to be fair on the players' end.
Yeah.
So guys, try to open up more slots, and you guys can pick up more players so your team can, get back to the playoff push, or if you guys want to succeed in general in terms of NBA fantasy. But you guys should definitely make the fair choice and just play the game fair.
I think that wraps it up with fantasy, right? So
yep.
Yeah, no, with everything said, guys, hope you guys enjoyed the episode. Be sure to like, subscribe, comment. Shout out to the last comment also, not only in our IG. So starting now from our IG, we'll be posting 5-minute fantasy as well, obviously that comment, the Grant comment for doing the Lakers girls came from that comment, more stuff like that. We'll continue doing more. We'll continue doing more what you shout out on our YouTube. Shout out to Abraham Salas. He asked us when are we doing the golf talk. Meet us at Studio City Golf Plaza. We're gonna be playing some golf and talking about golf there. We're gonna be hitting the links there. But hope you guys enjoy. Our Instagram's down in the section. Hope you guys stay safe with everything going on. Everything said, we're gonna wrap it up here. This is your boy Kishan Desai and your boy
GK.
Peace, guys. Deuces.